What's going on, guys? Netflix, Jessica Jones. The final trailer dropped. The show's coming soon. What's going on with Jessica Jones? What the F is Jessica Jones? We have a couple of guys that know a thing or two about a thing or two here to explain it to us. Our first guest, he is a filmmaker, a comic book writer, the head geek at geekscape.net, Jonathan London. And he is the perfect guy to talk about this stuff. He's the host of Marvel Movie News, Matt Key. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I was honored to get the call.
So Jessica Jones, how much of Jessica Jones coming to Netflix is due to Daredevil and the success of Daredevil?
I think it was all part of the same package.
Okay.
When Daredevil was announced, it was part of Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and Luke Cage, Power Man. And we knew that we were going to get all four of those and that they were going to culminate in a Defender series. So we were going to get 5 series.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and Jessica Jones, talking about like her origins and this character, she has connections throughout the Marvel universe, right?
Jessica Jones was a character that went to school with Peter Parker. She was a character we never heard of. She had a giant crush on Peter Parker. Always in the background, never heard from. And then on a family trip, her family was run off the road. Chemicals spilled onto her, and now she has super strength, can fly. And she's not quite bulletproof, but her skin is pretty tough.
And like her dad worked for Tony Stark. Is that right? Yeah. So just like weird
He's
connections.
A security guy,
Yeah, throughout the universe.
The series was called Alias, and she was a private investigator who was investigating things that involved superheroes. The series only ran from 2001 to 2004. It was part of a Marvel line called Max, which meant it had a lot more adult themes, a lot more violence, some sex. What would you call it, Matt? It was like more of a gritty, realistic style.
Oh,
right?
very much.
It was like a David Mack style, and it really made it a serious series. And then when we met the villain who's going to be in the series, the Purple Man, it gets really dark.
So is this Kilgrave?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about him, the main villain.
In the comics, it's not mind control so much as it's control over your will. So it's not like, I want you to go kill that person. He says, you want to go kill that person, and then you go do it. So he takes over your brain and makes you want to do the things that you do.
How does he cross paths with Jessica Jones?
I don't know how it's going to happen in the series, but in the Alias series, it was one of her investigations that these things were starting to happen that were not characteristic of the people that were doing them. And when she investigates it, she realizes that Kilgrave is responsible for it. And this stuff is pretty dark.
So he's not using his mind control for good things and nice things.
No.
And like,
guy doesn't want to help the economy or fund schools, no.
And that's the PTSD that Jessica Jones ends up getting and dealing with. Like, Alias starts with her having already experienced Kilgrave in that way somewhere in her past.
It's not a talking raccoon.
It certainly is not. As fun as that was, this is a whole other ballgame. Jessica Jones seems like a real ballsy chick. She drinks, she she screws, she does whatever the hell she wants. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, I mean, when you first see her, she's like this wholesome, like, ha-ha kind of character, and then Kilgrave happens and takes all that away from her. She was sent to go kill Daredevil, and as she got further and further away from Kilgrave's influence, she was like, wait, what am I doing? So she still has these powers, and she wants to use them for good, so she's kind of underground.
This is definitely not Supergirl. She used to be Supergirl. She was a character named Jewel. Like, that's how and then bright she was. And she was part of like one of the lower tier Avengers teams. She can go toe-to-toe with Luke Cage, who's been to jail, had a experimental operation done to him, got injected with some stuff, and now has like steel strong skin.
Gotcha.
And Luke Cage does kind of end up as the captain of the Defenders.
Talk to me about how we see the Defenders coming together, because there's been no mention of the Defenders yet in the Marvel TV series that we're talking about.
Or has there?
Okay. Yeah, lay it on me.
So in this series, we've got Jeryn Hogarth coming in, played by Carrie-Anne Moss. And she is actually Danny Rand's right-hand man. For like since the beginning of Iron Fist, like he was introduced like the 4th issue in, more or less. And he runs all of the business, helps Danny Rand with the business. He was his deceased father's business partner for the Rand Corporation, and he ends up being the legal representative for Heroes for Hire, which is basically what the Defenders is going to be.
So now there's like a gender swap. Carrie-Anne Moss is playing Jeryn Hogarth in the series.
Okay.
Totally cool with that.
So who's Iron Fist? Tell us a little bit about Iron Fist.
Danny Rand studied in the mystical city of Kunlun. I almost said the dragon. He defeated the dragon Shu Lao and took his heart out of him, and that's where the power of the Iron Fist comes from. It's a mystical power. So his power is that he's got like iron fists, and he's like this 3,000th level martial artist.
But he's also a pretty wealthy industrialist, right? He's almost toe-to-toe with Tony Stark as far as being wealthy goes. So he's got the resources to back a super team.
Oh, wow. So, for the uninitiated, would you say the Defenders are kind of like a street-level Avengers?
Yeah, they're kind of doing heroes for hire and calling it the Defenders. These are street-level, rooftop-jumping superheroes.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that haven't been introduced yet that we should look forward to?
We do know that Rosario Dawson's coming back as Night Nurse, hopefully for more than a few episodes. I mean, she was awesome in Daredevil.
Totally.
So the glue is starting to be there, and then when you go back to Daredevil, you saw that they're starting to lean towards the whole gel that's keeping all this together, right? You saw the introduction of like the Steel Serpent insignia on the heroine that Madame Gao was selling. So it's all starting to lean towards this mega, I think, street level ninja fight.
Yeah.
That's going to happen in the Defenders.
Giant ninja fight in like the boroughs of Manhattan.
And keep in mind that all these TV actors have clauses in their contract that if they are going to be asked to appear in some of the Marvel films, they have to.
So we know basically the big picture of the formation of the Defenders, but how do we see it happening in the immediate future with Punisher, Daredevil, Jessica Jones sort of interweaving and coming together?
The Defenders are going to be these 4 heroes that have an idealistic view of what their job is, even though it's nasty and gritty.
Yeah, I think it's mostly going to be Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Daredevil. I think Punisher is going to be kind of on the outskirts.
Okay, so if I can break down what you guys said, Jessica Jones, private investigator, who turns to fighting crime, teams with Luke Cage, and they're fighting Kilgrave.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it's all in Hell's Kitchen.
That's in New York, yeah.
It's in New York, yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of drinking and a lot of violence.
Sure, maybe a little sex thrown in too.
Are you excited for Jessica Jones? Let us know in the comments section below, and the coolest answer, we're going to send you a Screen Junkies t-shirt. I want to thank my esteemed guest, Jonathan London, Matt Key. Thank you for coming in and talking to us. And guys, if you love TV and you want to hear even more about it, you need to check out TV Fights, which is coming to Screen Junkies Plus, which kicks off November 17th. Check the description in the comments below to find out more. You know a little bit about TV Fights, right?
I do. I've been on it. It is intense and terrifying.
Intense and terrifying, just like movie fights you know and love. I want to thank you for watching. I'm Hal Rudnick. Hit me up on Twitter. Bye-bye.
Screen Junkies Plus, a new network created entirely for movie fans, featuring shows from the most epic voices in movies and TV.